Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into something absolutely critical for any leader whose organization is using AI. We're talking about the ethics of how these powerful systems make decisions. If AI is part of your business, this is a conversation you have to be in.
So let's just start with a number. By next year, the projection is that AI is going to influence a massive 70% of all critical business decisions.
And look, this isn't some distant forecast. This is the new reality. It's a fundamental change in how we all operate, with AI making choices in milliseconds that can affect literally millions of people.
Which brings us to the single most important question you, as a leader, can ask. Do you actually know how your AI is arriving at its decisions? Today we're going to unpack some key findings on AI ethics, all designed for executives, to help you get to that answer. Okay, so first things first. We need to get our heads around just how big of a role AI is playing in business today. It's basically a new member of the executive team.
Think about it like this. A human team might take hours, maybe days, to deliberate on a complex choice. They get tired, they need breaks. And AI, it makes that same choice in the blink of an eye. And it runs 24/7 without ever needing a coffee break. The scale is just beyond human. And we're not talking about some far-off future. This is happening as we speak. In finance, in HR, in healthcare, AI is making incredibly high-stakes decisions. And that power, well, it's a double-edged sword. It brings amazing benefits, for sure, but it also opens up some pretty profound ethical issues that we absolutely cannot afford to ignore. Okay, so you've got all this incredible power, but what's the catch? Well, there are some major hidden risks lurking under the surface, and we're going to pull back the curtain on the biggest one, opacity, or what everyone's talking about as the black box problem. You've probably heard this term, the black box. It's pretty simple, actually. You feed data into one side, a decision comes out the other. But what happens in the middle? Nobody knows. It's completely opaque. And the crazy part is, often, not even the people who built it can fully explain the logic. And this quote from Dr. Eleanor Williamson just nails it. It really gets to the heart of the problem. Because when you have a lack of transparency, you get a lack of accountability. I mean, if you can't explain why a decision was made, who's on the hook when things go wrong? And believe me, this isn't some academic, theoretical debate. This has real, sometimes devastating consequences for real people. Let's look at a few powerful examples of what happens when these black boxes get it wrong.
Take the Compass algorithm, which was used in the U.S. justice system. A huge investigation back in 2016 found something pretty shocking. It was almost twice as likely to wrongly label black defendants as being high risk for reoffending compared to white defendants. Just think about the human impact of that kind of error.
Or how about this one from Amazon? They built this AI tool to help with recruiting, but it was trained on 10 years of their own hiring data. And what did it learn? It learned to replicate the company's past biases, straight up penalizing resumes that had the word women's in them. It taught itself to be biased.
And then you have the gender shade study. I mean, just look at these numbers. Commercial facial recognition systems. For lighter-skinned men, the error rate was less than 1%. For darker-skinned women, almost 35%. That's not a small error. That's a fundamentally broken system.
And this one is tough. In healthcare, an algorithm was supposed to find the sickest patients who needed the most help. But how did it measure sickness? It used healthcare costs as a stand-in. But because of long-standing inequities in the system, black patients often had lower costs, even when they were sicker. So the AI systematically told doctors they needed less help. The consequences there are literally life and death. Okay, so those examples are really alarming. And it's easy to feel a little pessimistic, but they're not the end of the story. In fact, they actually point us directly toward the solution, which is all about building AI that we can genuinely trust.
So, let's think about this logically. If the big, scary problem is the black box, this opaque system we can't see inside,
then what's the solution? Well, it's pretty obvious, right? We have to make it transparent. We have to build a glass box instead. And that very idea has launched a whole new, super important field in AI. It's called explainable AI, or XAI for short. And you can just think of it as a toolkit designed to do one thing: crack open that black box and tell us why the AI made the decision it did. Simple as that.
And if you're a leader, listen up, because this is crucial. XAI isn't some optional, nice-to-have tech feature. It's a fundamental part of good governance. It's how you manage risk, it's how you keep a human in the loop, and frankly, it's the only way you're going to build real trust with your customers and with regulators.
Okay,
That's the what and the why. So how do you actually do this? How do you put this into practice back at your company and turn these ideas into action?
All right, the research lays out a really clear 4-step playbook. Number 1, you have to bake ethics in from the very start. It can't be an afterthought you bolt on at the end. Number 2, get the right people in the room. This isn't just a job for your tech team. You need legal, ethics, business, a whole cross-functional group. 3, you have to actually talk to the people who will be affected by these decisions, your employees, your customers. And finally, number 4, this is never one and done. You have to constantly monitor, learn, and be ready to adapt.
And this right here, this is probably the most important shift in mindset for any leader. Stop thinking of ethical AI as a cost. It's not a cost center. It is your single biggest source of competitive advantage, full stop. It's how you build better products, how you attract the best people, and how you earn that one thing you can never, ever buy: trust.
So that really is the question you're facing. Is ethical AI just a line item on your budget, or is it your most powerful competitive advantage? How you answer that is going to define not just your organization's future, but all of ours. Thanks for joining us.